Okay, what's the next pose? Next pose is looking to his left. How many frames are that? Okay, it's around 60. So what I do, I will move his head or turn his head to his left side or to the right of the screen. And we'll put subtle movement into his other body parts like his hip. His hand will go up a little bit. And also the left arm. So just a little bit of change in his movements, so his movement doesn't seem too dead. Okay, a little bit of movement. Go to the pose. Key it at 60. So what I don't want to be a linear movement from one pose to another one. So what I do to avoid that, I take the key at 1 or 0 and put it at 59, and I put a double key there at 58. So it is basically blocked, and he's jumping from one frame to the other. This double key thing, I do it all the time in order to block something out. Here, I have to readjust the eyes into that direction. See, and now it jumps from the first pose to the other pose. But I'm working in splines. Not linear, not stepped, I work in splines. So this is my pose, exactly. And this will be the next one. Shifting of weight and rotating the hip, as you can see. All right, so let's move to the next pose. Oh, but first maybe constrain the ball to the hand. Otherwise, I always have to readjust the ball when I move the body of the character. So I parented it, but that's not the solution, because now the channels for the ball are locked by the parent constraint. So what I will do to avoid that, I will make a group over the ball, so group it with itself. Center the pivot of both to itself, just center it. Then we go to 0, 0, 0. And now I will not constrain the ball itself to the hand, I will constrain the group over the ball to the hand. So I can still animate the ball while the group over the ball is constrained to the hand. So let's do it. First, go, select the hand, select the group of the ball, constrain, parent constrain it. This should be it. Perfect. Now I can also close the hand, still adjust the pose a little bit. Close the hand. Just select all controllers at once, rotate them into one direction, key it, and then take the ball and position it. Doesn't look too bad. Alright, so let's go to the next pose. Shift his weight to his left, to the right of the screen. Raise his arm and make a pointing finger. His right arm is beside his body. Exactly, and we have to go into that pose. So first we do is make the pointing hand, the pointing fingers. For that, rotate all the other fingers just by selecting all of the controls. Very simple. Rise this one. Make the key double key here for the pose looking to the right, and a double key at this point. Tweak the pose a little bit. Lower this arm. And as you know, I always do this double key. It's quite simple, it's very fast, and I'm still in spline modus. Okay, what else do we have on this pose? Shift the weight, clear silhouette. The hip. The hip rotates like this now, in this angle, and when he comes to the other pose, it's the opposite angle. And the shoulders rotate against it. So let's take a look with those controllers again. They're quite helpful for adjusting the hip and the shoulders. Okay, we do it like that, in this direction, and the shoulder the other direction. And then to readjust this, the whole body to the other side. More weight onto that foot. More adjustment. Rise the arm. And all the subtle movement will come later when we do the breakdown and the in-betweens. For now we're just doing the key poses and maybe some extremes already. And this should be enough to show to the director and see what he thinks about it. I usually work with FK if I work with the arms. It's much better for the in-betweens and the breakdown because you have arcs straight away. And if you work with IK, you have to put in the arcs. Because with IK it goes straight from pose to pose, and if you work with FK the arm rotates in an arc, so you have that for free. I work with IK if the weight is put on the hand, like if you get up from a table and you use your hands to push your body up, then I would use the IK. Alright, so let's go to the next pose, see what is happening. He takes a look at the ball, but we won't take that for the next pose. We will go straight away to the anticipation of throwing the ball. We don't do that because it's not essential for the story, and we would put it into the breakdown. So we first adjust the hand, take a look, goes up, alright. So we go into the anticipation of throwing the ball. So this will be at around, I think, 150. And that will be the next pose. So let's move the body to that side and take a look again what is happening. He's doing that little step backwards and exactly his left foot going up, his right arm going up, and it's also at the same time it's a squash. And as you can see, a lot of principles are mixed up. It's like we now have this anticipation. We have it because of a physical reason and also because of a storytelling reason. We want to show the audience what the character is doing now. He will throw a ball. And as I said before, the faster and stronger the action, the longer and stronger the anticipation. So people see that something will happen. And also at this position we have this squash that we use to make this pose even stronger. As you see, sometimes it's important to go into the perspective, because if you just animate through the camera, then maybe it works, but then the character, if you look from the side, is in a really weird position, in a really weird pose. And if you have a shadow from light, then you can see the weird position of his body in the shadow. So better make it work physically from all perspectives. Alright, so keep on more adjusting the body, trying to hit the pose. So I do the adjustments in the perspective as I think it is right. Then I switch to the camera and take a look. Alright, does it work now in that perspective? If not, go back and make it work. And here also you can see my double keys. And that's all I need for the beginning, for putting in the first poses. And here you see it's not yet what it should be. So it's trying and keep getting closer to the pose that I want to hit. It's try and error sometimes. And okay, now change here the hand. It shouldn't point anymore. So let's close it, see how it looks like. Sometimes I do a pose or I do some adjustments, and afterwards I see, no, that's not what I want. It doesn't look so good, so try something else. And I think we have that freedom in 3D to play around and take a look, does it work or not? Because it goes all so fast. You have that possibility. In 2D or stop motion, you don't have it, because it's so much work to do that animation in 2D, for example. You have to draw it, and just to see if it works, you have to draw it and then play it. If it doesn't work, you have to redraw everything. So in 3D it's different. You just rotate some controllers, take a look, no, yes, go back. You have an undo, it's perfect. So I think it's a good way in 3D to hit your pose. Readjust the foot. Pro vector. For example, for the feet, I usually work in IK. But if you have something, if the character is rotating through the air or making some weird Kung Fu style stuff, then if there is not necessarily a contact from the feet to the ground, then maybe I'd switch to FK on the feet. See that as that curve shape in the body? Yeah. Readjust the hand. And this hand is also physically. If that left hand wouldn't be there, it would be close to the body, then maybe he would lose his balance and would fall to his right or the left of the screen. Maybe put in a little bit of a squash, not only in his whole body, like moving his hip down, but also putting a squash onto his body by scaling the controllers. So I think for now this should be fine, but probably I will adjust the pose later when I do the breakdowns and in-betweens, and I see maybe where can I adjust it. But for now that's fine. Let's move to the next pose. So here it is. The next pose is the follow-through of the action of the throwing ball. So all the weight goes from his right foot to his left foot, and then back onto the right foot, or when he stands up. So let's see which frame it is we put in the next pose. Yeah, maybe 175 is fine. By the way, this is a generic rig from the internet. It's from Miguel Gonzalez Vine. It's Lowman. I think it's a good way to start the animation, do some examples, do some tests. You don't have to take care about rigging it or designing it or doing some textures or whatever. I think this rig is absolutely enough to animate, and you have everything in it what you need. It's basic, but it's a good way to start. So just keep on rotating and translating all body parts so we hit the pose we need. So basically, really, there's no magic about animating. It's just knowing what you want or trying it out, taking all the controllers, rotating, translating them into nice poses, strong poses that tell a story, that have a clear silhouette, that have a line of action. Or what makes an animation really good very, very easily and very fast is a good timing. But we will come to the timing later. Basically, yeah. And timing is something that is really hard to learn because you need a lot of experience to get it. Or if you're lucky, you just have it. I met some animators, they just had such a natural feeling for timing. So I'm really jealous, but there's nothing you can do about it. Just keep on trying, and after some time you get a feeling for the timing, for what looks good, what looks wrong. If you watch a lot of movies, animation movies, then you see, if you see good animation, then you adapt it, and if you work with other good animators, you see how they do it or what they do, what their timing is, and then you try that out, and then you get there. So basically what I'm trying to say, there are no tricks like magic buttons or some special tools you use and then the animation looks good. No, it's not like that. It's how do you say, it's stupid pushing the button or setting keys, translating and rotating. Sometimes I wish there would be a way how you can do it even faster. I mean, I don't know, there are motion capture utilities, or there are puppets you can use and you animate them and then the animation is transferred in the computer. I don't know if this could be another way, but I still think it could be much faster to do the animation. If I find out how it works, probably I can make a lot of money. But I think that, for example, motion capture is no option for animating cartoon characters. It's just something totally different. I think it's good to use it, for example, in for characters that look quite realistic, or also in games. It's because it's a fast way, and the data or the motion you get looks quite realistic. I mean, it's really good. You still have to tune it and adjust it, but that's something that is not really useful for cartoon animation. Okay, so let's move on. We do the next pose. So the next pose is coming. As you can see, we move from that pose where he threw the ball, the follow through, to his very cool, upstanding, that's me, guys. So now just move and translate the controllers again. Zero that out. Move the hip first. Then maybe the legs, the upper body, the arms, the head. Try to hit the pose. Maybe have an idea for that, making it more easy to animate. Depending on your animation and if you act it out, maybe you do something like record it on a camera. You stand in front of a white background, you're dressed in black, and you have something on like a motion capture device. And then you import the images into your computer, like an image plane in the background. And then there should be an utility that says, okay, adjust my character now in that pose you can see in the background. And then, I don't know how the technology is, I could hit the poses or some main poses very easily. And so I wouldn't use that tool for the breakdown in-betweens. I would do that by hand. But for maybe for some main poses or main keys, it could be quite useful to get close to that pose. But it's just the basis, and from there on you can adjust it. So you wouldn't have to do all that stuff that I'm doing right now. Try to hit the pose, move all the controllers, rotate it, translate the hip. See, I'm still doing it and I'm not there yet. Still adjusting, and maybe this could be more a possibility. Something similar like motion capture, but if you do motion capture, you have a lot of data straight away, and you first have to clean it up. You first have to go in and key everything you don't need. No, it's just too much data and too much adjusting and playing around. But if that tool puts the character into that pose without setting keys straight away, I think this, and you still can decide if you set the keys or not. So again, what we do, put in a double key to lock it on this position. You could do it also in the graph editor, go in and make it flat at that position, but it's too much work. You have to open the graph editor, select the key, make it flat, or you can just go in, make a double key, that's it. It's very, very, very fast way to work. And also for the timing we have now will not be the final timing. For example, I think that when he throws the ball, it has to be faster. But we will adjust this when we do the breakdown and in-betweens. His whole body is in a curve. I should do the same in the 3D character. So exaggerate this pose that we have, make it more extreme. The clearer the pose, the stronger the pose, the better the basis for the animation that we start after that. Again, adjusting, moving, rotating all the controllers. And here you see again, I'm still not quite sure what to do with his left hand. I have no idea yet. Okay, so I will leave it like that for now. As I said before, I will take a look at it when I start the animation. So, I have to save it. I haven't saved it yet. That's basically very, very bad. But I can do it now.